Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another show. Yes, we're here live, and we have some special guests today. Now, I know a lot of things are going on, and we have some great information for you. And I know to bring the best information to you, why don't I bring the man himself, the chair of the York-Eglinton BIA? Please welcome to the show, Mr. Nick Alampi. Nick, how you
Hello.
doing?
Thanks for having me.
We are here, and we are live on Word on the Street. So we bring you information of what's going on.
Yeah, we thank you for this. This is a new segment we're trying, and this is another way we're trying to use another platform of media of trying to get information out to people. And we figured this is the best way to do it. People are getting tired of reading. This is the best way we're going to do video and so forth like that. But I'm not alone. I think we have one other person. I know you're about to introduce him, but before you do that, I just want to let you know he's an amazing individual. He's new to our office, and he's the person I can tell you right now who's definitely making change here on the York-Eglinton BIA and implementing some really great stuff on our social media and updating our community. And without him right now, I don't know where we'd be. So we want to thank him, and let's get going. Let's start this.
Without further ado, let's bring him in. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me here, Charles, and Nick for bringing me on board with the York-Eglinton BIA. Really excited to work as the new manager, supporting the management board and all our members along Eglinton Avenue.
So here it is. Before we get into it, let's just tell people one thing. We keep saying York-Eglinton BIA.
Mm-hmm.
What is the BIA?
So a BIA stands for Business Improvement Area. And so we're one of 83 other BIAs across the city of Toronto. So there's an umbrella organization called the Toronto Association of Business Improvement Areas. And we're also a committee or a board of the city of Toronto. And really all of the commercial and tenants along Eglinton Avenue within our district are automatic members of the BIA.
Okay,
And
so
I want to add to that. We're not only responsible for the businesses and commercial landlords. We also reach out to residents in the surrounding area. So again, we do work with residents and people in the apartment buildings and homes that are around us that have concerns and issues. The BIA is there to work together as a community, and that's the one thing that's great about the BIA.
all right. So what I'm going to do is, Nick, I want you to explain to us right here what is the boundaries
So
of the York-Eglinton BIA.
our current boundaries right now, as far east as I would say as Marley Avenue, as far west as Dufferin. We slightly go north of Eglinton and slightly south of Eglinton, and that's our BIA boundary, and that's a zone that's committed with us through the city of Toronto and the members here on Eglinton.
All right. And then what is the BIA service?
I think we have really three primary roles. One is to help promote the businesses and the district itself. So we do that through marketing campaigns. A big focus is on social media, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then we're going to be rolling out a series of more campaigns as the year progresses as well. And then I think the other big thing is that we're here to actually help beautify the neighborhood as well. So you'll see a lot of streetscaping improvements, and then with all this construction with the LRT, working with Metrolinx to really beautify the future Oakwood and Fairbanks stations within our BIA. And then finally, we're here to champion the businesses that are here. So really advocating on their behalf and really being that vocal spokesperson for all the major issues that are happening.
All right, so let's help people out right now. I'm gonna give them the email, and while I'm doing the email, Nick, go ahead and say your point.
So, and to add to that is that we are one voice for a bunch of voices here on Eglinton when it comes to city issues or anything provincially and municipally. And what we're doing right now is with this current situation, we are definitely staying focused and advocating on behalf of the membership. So most importantly is that, the information you're seeing just below right now is where we're asking you if you want instantaneous results or information on what's going on. This is where we ask you to send your information to the BIA so that we can strengthen our database and information to get back out to you. So the BIA is here for everyone, and we're doing our best to advocate on your behalf.
Right. And then also there is actually a beautiful website. So I'm going to put that up on there as well, because I know you guys are going to be updating your website constantly now moving forward to give people constant information. But don't forget, if you're not email savvy or web savvy, they have a number that they're always on. There's, if you don't get them, they'll contact you back in with 24 hours with information. So, they'll be on the phone as well. So there is the phone number, 416-789-1835. That's 416-789-1835. Now, speaking of information, I know what's going on with the COVID-19. What is currently the situation there on Eglinton?
Well, currently right now, as you know, through the province and the city, the essential services are being left open, takeout and so forth like that. We're seeing a lot of stores that are being really respectful to the situation of the COVID-19 and not opening up for local businesses and so forth like that. And we're encouraging that. Folks, and then what we're putting out there is, for us to be back on the street and to have businesses, you need to stay in, let this thing pass and let it go through. And most importantly, we need to follow the steps that are needed to assure that we're not passing this on. And I want to reach out and thank the board and thank the membership for being part of this and doing what they can to prevent any spreading and so forth like that. And the businesses that are doing their best to follow the rules and so forth like that. I know this is hard times. And again, this is unforeseen circumstances, but we're asking everybody to just continue and stay focused and stay on it.
All right. So actually, Lou, I'm going to bring you in because we actually have a sheet here that we can actually help each other, and we're going to help our viewers right now. So let's go forward.
Mm-hmm. So as of March 17th, the government of Ontario obviously declared a state of emergency to protect the public. So the closures are listed there in terms of and what's also legally required. And so I think the big thing for our members is that all bars and restaurants, except those that provide takeout or delivery options, have to close. And then, as you can see, this is an ongoing situation, and the government's going to continue to update everybody. So we encourage everybody to visit the Government of Ontario website to get the latest updates, and that's ontario.ca/coronavirus. Okay.
Now we're talking about how do we keep ourselves isolated and safe. Like you just mentioned, people are, are at home. They don't know the full information. Let's talk about that right now. They're on the screen.
Yeah. And so I think the next big part is how do we keep everybody safe during this time? So the Toronto Public Health has some great sort of tips that everybody should follow. I think the big one is that we should all stay at home and we make sure that we only go out for essentials. We also make sure that we don't invite people over in terms of that social and physical distancing with each other. And then obviously is to make sure that we're washing our hands and cleaning surfaces that are commonly used. So it's like doorknobs and stuff like that. And again, we encourage the public to visit the City of Toronto's website and Toronto Public Health. And that's at toronto.ca/COVID-19.
And then here's the funny thing to all the parents that are watching out there. Here's a funny, easy thing for your children to know. I was just joking around with Nick earlier about testing his mic. If you make your kids sing their ABCs while they're washing their hands, that's enough time because we want them to wash their hands 20 seconds or more. So if you just got a little one and you make them sing their ABCs as they're washing their hands, by the time they get from A to Z and washing properly, it'll be fun for them and they'll be constantly washing their hands.
Yep.
So then we're talking about...
Sorry, yep. Charles, one thing to add to that is that for any of the commercial stores that are out there, don't hesitate to use Lysol wipes or anything to wipe down the handles of the businesses that people are coming in and out, because that's one area, especially at the fast food places. We're encouraging them to do that and keep that up.
And then also in terms of the social distancing, a really good practice is that a lot of retailers are putting tape down on the floor to make sure that there's the required distances between customers as they're waiting to pick up their takeout.
Exactly. And to add on to that as well, I've been to the store recently and everybody understands. Don't feel bad as a retailer that you're putting the tape down and asking them to stand behind the line. Right now, everybody's being courteous and everybody understands the situation. So do whatever you have to do to protect you, yourself, and your customers. All right. So let's move on to the next slide from great information. Is like, how do we keep our stores safe? That's some of the things that people are asking. They're shut down, and if they're not around, how do we keep our stores safe, Nick?
So one of the things we're telling a lot of the retail stores specifically is, post a note other than the fact that you're closed for COVID-19, that there's no money in the till. Another way of doing is having your till open if people have to see in, and have the little metal things propped up to show that there's no funds in it, or even just have the till tray on the table type of thing so that they see there's nothing there. We do encourage to keep one light open, even though we're saying at this time, with everybody trying to save money and keep expenses down, to close as many lights as they can. We do recommend that they have one in the center of the store, at the front of the store, just so that it allows that if any of the officers that are commuting our area, the police that are traveling right now, they can have a clear line of sight into the shop. And most importantly, we're saying to the retailers, empty out your window so that there is a clear line of sight into the store so that they can see inside, specifically that. We, the BIA, are doing our best. Some of our volunteers are patrolling the area in the sense of walking and seeing what stores are open and not. And we're doing our best to see. We're going to help what we can. And again, if you are a landlord or business and you're not registered with us for contact information, this is the best time to do it again, because this is where, if we know an emergency situation happens, we can reach out to you and update you on that specifically for your property.
All right. And do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, and so these are some great tips that the Toronto Police Department has shared with us to keep the businesses safe. And so things like keeping all the cash drawers open to show that there's nothing in the drawers. We have a number of bars along Eglinton Avenue, so having all the alcohol products removed from the bar and put in a secured storage area is another great tip. And then just putting a sign on the door saying that there's no cash or valuables on the premise will help deter people from trying to break into the property.
Yes, and then the last thing too is remember, if you have deliveries coming, call your supplier, call your delivery person, and remind them. If they can redirect it to a different location or everything would help as well. And having your packages just left outside your door.
Yeah.
All right. So the situation is, we know there's other things that are going on. So let's move on to there as well. The Canadian Emergency Response Benefits. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, and so just the other day, this is the federal government through the finance minister announced that a lot of our members have been asking about unemployment insurance for themselves because they're self-employed or they're entrepreneurs, or for their employees. And we know, and the government knows, that a lot of them do not qualify for unemployment insurance. So the government of Canada just announced that they're creating this new Canada Emergency Response Benefit. And this benefit will provide up to $2,000 a month over the next 4 months for workers who are not getting a paycheck because of COVID-19. And so the important thing is that this includes persons who are self-employed and who can no longer work because of the situations, or also persons who are employed but are not receiving the income or during this COVID-19 crisis. So the details are still being worked out. We understand that an application portal will be available and launched very soon. I'm hearing the first week of April. And once that portal is up and running, we will definitely share that link on the BIA social media. And then from there, funding, once people actually apply, they'll start receiving funding within 10 days of applying to that website. So stay tuned, and more information will actually be shared.
And that's good to help people. So if they need more information, I'm going to put it up one more time. The email is there and the phone number is there, but you can email them right there if you have any more questions, and they can actually send you a response email with the link to make it easier for you to apply for this great opportunity.
Yeah, and I also encourage people to check the government's website, which is canada.ca/coronavirus.
And one thing I'm going to add to that is we are now just transitioning our old website to our new website, and we're hoping to have a section there where we are going to post all these links. So again, bear with us because we're just doing the transition. We're hoping, if all goes well, by Friday, the latest is going to be Wednesday of next week, where we'll have all these links up. And again, it's going to be our new website that's going to add these accessibilities. But if anybody is looking for help or anything, don't hesitate to reach out to the office. We'll do our best to see what we can for you.
All right. Now, here's another thing that I found interesting that we were talking off camera, and you brought some great information to us. talk to us about the temporary wages.
Yep. And so this is a new program that the government just launched as well, and it's a temporary business wage subsidy. So this would be a subsidy equal to about 10% of the employee's pay period for the next 3 months. And so that could equal up to $1,375 per employee, and up to $25,000 per employer between March 18th and June 20th. And so really the way this works is the subsidy is providing to businesses through employers by reducing their payroll remittance. So the money that you send to the federal and provincial government would be reduced by 10%. And so the more information, once again, is going to be available on the government's website. And so that's available at www.canada.ca.
All right, and again, I want you guys to, even though we're giving you a lot of information in the description, when we post this out, we'll be sending you the links, the emails will be in there. Everything is there, so don't worry about it if you're missing anything. We'll be running this over and over, so there's enough information there to help you out. So then let's talk about the taxes, because even myself, and we're all talking about it, how do we fill in the taxes still? What do we do? When is it coming in? A lot of the owners, they're worried about their taxes right now. What's going on with that?
Yeah, and so this is a question that we get a lot and people are really worried about. And just particular for small businesses, the Canada Revenue Agency will allow all businesses to defer until August 31st, 2020, the payment of any income tax amounts that are owing on or after March 19th, 2020, and before September 2020. And so this is going to really help a lot of businesses as well. And again, this information and the links are going to be shared at the bottom of this program and also on our website and social media.
Okay. And then once again, I want to make sure that you're understanding this. It's 416-789-1835 to call the office for more information. So Nick, just talking to you about the chair, you're always out there helping businesses and do everything else there. So you're always on there, so you know what's happening. So there's nothing that you're always going to meetings. I want to make sure that people understand that you're always on the ball and that you're always making sure you're getting full information to help all the store owners.
And you're right, Charles. That's what we've been doing. Myself and Lou Rose was on a call with the city of Toronto to try to figure out what's happening with their emergency task team that the mayor has put together with this COVID-19. And, we've been asked ourselves with myself and Lou Rose about how we can help the small businesses and what are some of the innovative ways that we can do this. And, we're all in this, folks. Like at the end of the day, we're going to meetings, we're on calls, we're doing video conferencing, and we're trying our best. And the truth is that there's no right solution. And the only thing we can do is let this pass. And we hope that it misses us as quickly as possible and that it's very minimal to little impact to the Toronto community. But again, folks, to make that happen is we have to abide to these current rules. Now, I know for a lot of the businesses and landlords right now, they're saying, well, we have bills to pay. We're trying our best to find innovative ways and sources that I think that can help. But at this point, we need to be very neighborly. We need to be very helpful to each other. And at this point, we all know our situation. We have to ask everybody to just buy time. And that's what it is right now. We're doing our best to find links, and we're working again, as I said, with the city of Toronto. Yes, I am a volunteer. I'm not a paid staff for the city or for the York-Eglinton BIA. So Lou Rose is the one who I say in all heart, he's the one that's been doing all the research that's needed for this. And again, we thank him for it because at this time right now, the best I do is taking what I know in the community and have it apply to resources that we think we can do. So that's kind of my role at this time.
All right. And then also, I know everybody's at home. Everybody's got a cell phone. So if you're at home and you got a cell phone, there it is. Okay, you can get all the information. They have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at York-Eglinton BIA. All right, so hashtag that. It's at York-Eglinton BIA. That's Facebook, Twitter, and also the videos. I know they'll be posting some new videos out. So make sure if you're looking for information, just go there.
And Charles, one thing I wanted to add that Lou Rose and I have been working on, mostly him, I would say, is the recent surprise that we just found out was currently, Lou Rose, I don't know if you can mention that.
Yeah, and so a lot of questions that we get is a lot of tenants are asking for rent relief, and how do they actually approach their landlords about this? So the Retail Insider Canada, which is one of our great partners, is actually hosting a webinar today. There is going to be a recording of that webinar, but it's actually focused on negotiating rent relief during this COVID virus time. And that will help you have that conversation around talking to your landlord and having these strategies for negotiating rent relief. And we know, so that's a really important subject and something that could really help small businesses today. So again, that recording will be available on our website and on our social media. So I encourage you to listen to the webinar when it becomes available.
All right, and that's great information. So once again, giving you guys some key information, what you need to know. We talked about safety in the stores. Okay, what you need to do, simple things like keep one light on, open up the till so they can see when they look in, make sure that, you know, the packages that you redirect your packages. We talked about tax breaks. We talked about when the taxes are going in. We talked about subsidies for the employee and the employer. It's also information. And then the great news you just told us about is you're going to be doing a seminar on how to approach your landlord and talk about, you know, what's going on and how you guys can work together so, you know, you can survive and what's going on, because it takes time. We all know it takes time. And these two great gentlemen from the York-Eglinton BIA is there to help you. So make sure you get all the information, and we're going to put out for some emails. You can email them right there.
And what I'm going to say is, folks, if there's something we missed or something we're unaware of, I think that can be beneficial to us, you got to hit the email below because that'll give us and send information. If we're missing something we think that we can tell people or we can put as part of our information package, we help each other. That's all we can say, and stay safe and follow the rules to avoid COVID-19.
All right. Now, thank you guys so much. As normal, we'll be doing more broadcasting. We'll be bringing you some more information pretty soon. So if you're watching this and you find this very informative, like Nick was saying, please let us know. And then also, please share. The best way to get this information out is if you share it with somebody else. If you find it online, you find it in your social media, please share it with all the other stores, everybody else in your community. It's great information. So please don't hesitate to share it for everybody else.
Yes. And Charles, thank you for your time and effort in doing this with us.
Oh, and it's my pleasure. It's we are one big happy family, and we got to make sure we look after each other.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.